Hello and welcome. I should start all over again. So welcome to EFL Talks. And today is November 27th, 2022. And we're here with Tisol, Macedonia, Thrace, Northern Greece, to talk about fostering autonomy. And I welcome you all. We'll introduce everybody as we go along, but first a little bit about EFL Talks, just quickly. We're back after a hiatus of a while, and EFL Talks is all about teachers teaching teachers. And this is free for teachers, all the teachers that appear here for free. And these recordings are available to you on the EFLtalks.com website for free for continuing education. Now, the hook that I have is the teachers can only talk for 10 minutes and can only use 10 slides, hence the 10 and 10. And we'll be timing them and cutting them off if they run too long. So just to give you an idea, I actually started this about seven years ago. And we've had over 400 EFL talkers. This is our 37th event, and we've got over 600 CPD videos online free for you. So if you have 120 free hours and you really want to learn something, watch all the videos one after another. I dare you. And just to give you a breakdown, we've had 270 non-natives, 127 native speakers, 254 women, 143 men, a puppet, a robot, and a frog. And if that's confusing to you, watch the videos. So we've been all over the world, as you can see. I believe this is our third time in Macedonia, Thrace, Northern Greece. I think
this is the fourth.
This could be the fourth. Somebody count as we go through, but you can see we've done a lot. My last one I did was March of 2021. Since everybody's been online, I decided to slow down a little bit, but we have all different subject matters from all over the world. You can see Ecuador, Poland. We celebrate World Teachers Day. We did comedy, which wasn't very funny. Italy, Russia, we did a great fundraiser for Puerto Rico after the earthquakes there. There we are again. And we've done learner technology. We've done young learners. We've been to Africa, Braz Tisol, where we actually had a face-to-face live event at one of the Braz Tisol conferences. We've been to the Middle East, and one of the biggest ones was International Women's Day, which brings us, there's another, Northern Greece, there's another, Belta, the Caribbean, Ecuador, and it all started with the very first one I did is 10 and 10 for 10 hours. We had my very first EFL Talks, we had 50 speakers over a 10-hour period. And everything can be found on the EFLtalks.com website. So let me stop sharing and to bring on somebody special, Maria Araxi. It's her fault. She brought me out of retirement to put together this. So a big hand for Maria Araxi.
A big hand to you. Tisol, Macedonia, Thrace, Northern Greece welcomes you. A big thanks goes out to all the speakers. We are grateful to the representatives of our associates, Ms. Eleni Kartalia and Mr. Jake Delatola Saveris, who represent Tisol Greece, Ms. Iphigenia Koufu, who represents ETAL. It is our dream and our mission to cooperate with as many teachers associations worldwide as we possibly can. Thank you so much, Rob. There's no way you and retirement can go together in one sentence. And I would say that what makes me so passionate about 10 in 10 is that it's teacher-led teacher training that is bite-sized, and it's interesting to create, interesting to watch, and it doesn't take too long. So it boils down to the essentials. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy.
Thank you. And I would like to point out, why are you listening to a podcast when you can watch somebody speak live, face to face? So, use these when you're traveling on the bus, on the train, in your car, whatever. Watch a 10 in 10 and learn something from the experts that you're going to see today. So, that being said, let's get started. If you could, everybody, please make sure you keep your microphones muted. And if you'd like, don't be shy. Feel free to turn your camera on so we can see you. And, at the end, we'll get a big picture of everybody waving hi. I see a lot of past speakers here. And there's Danny, there's Glenda, yay. And anybody else that I missed. So if you're interested in the future in doing your own EFL talks for your own area, or you have a good idea, let me know, and I'll make Maria do all the work. So with that,
Rob, before
yes.
we start, just a very short announcement. I would like to say that the Tisol Macedonia Thrace Northern Greece Christmas event is going to be an alternative one this year. We tried to brainstorm about a date when we could hold it, and then we had a headache trying to figure out when people give awards and when they have parents' days and when they give report cards. And then we decided that it's going to be an asynchronous event. So our members are going to receive a link with 4 videos or 3 videos. Jury's still out on that one. Us preparing our favorite Christmas activities and giving ideas for the Christmas teaching of the last week. So guys, we are not going to eat cookies together, but hopefully our ideas are going to travel together. Thank you.
Great. And one more announcement. With the owner of the Toyota Camry, please turn off your headlights. Oh, well, wrong one. Okay, so let's get started. And first, we're going to go to Kiki. And Kiki.
Hello, thank you so much for inviting me to be here with you with so many distinguished educators. Today, I'm let me share my screen first.
Okay, share your screen, and I've got my famous timer. Okay. You got 10 minutes.
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay. Thank you. I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be invited again. So today I'm going to talk to you how to create autonomous learners with Microsoft Flip, Wakelet, Bunsen Ray, which are all Microsoft tools. Okay, as you know, I'm going to skip it. I'm an MIE educator. I have been working with Microsoft tools for 4 years. And today I would like to give you my testimony, how I experienced my students' transformation using using the Microsoft tools. The first one is Flipgrid. I'm sure that most of you know Flipgrid. It's a free, secure, inclusive, and accessible tool. Customizable video responses encourage students to plan their responses and speak thoughtfully. They give them the flexibility to rehearse their answers as many times as they want and use the powerful Flipgrid camera to make meaningful creations. Flipgrid camera has been updated. There are many functions and that students find really playful and really engaging and motivating. Flip is for the classroom, your home, wherever you want to take it, because learning happens everywhere, and this is autonomy. This is an example of how I have been using Flipgrid. In Flipgrid, you can create your own groups, classrooms, and in the classrooms, you can insert the topics You choose the topics depending on what you discuss, what you want to discuss in class. You choose the topics. You send the link to your students, and students then have to send back their responses. Everything is shareable. You can share it with other educators. You can share it with parents. You can share it with students. Students do their videos at their own pace. They just need 2 minutes, maybe less. I mean, it's their own discretion. But what is really important is that they produce speech. And on the bottom, see, it's my students' answers, which I can go into and see their answers whenever they submit them. Now, but as we all know, students are facing unprecedented challenges. There are too many distractions which cause them to have difficulty remembering facts and figures. Don't forget the COVID era, which has necessitated the use of more online tools. Sometimes there is lack of access to the right resources. Students feel overwhelmed and disorganized. They don't know how to organize their resources. They don't know how to do their own research. And so Wakelet is here to save both us, teachers, and the students. So students become autonomous learners by doing research on their own. They explore resources. They use their critical thinking skills, because in order to explore these resources, they have to be able to pick whatever chunk they think it's useful for their assignment. They can add content from whatever resource they want, which means that they can adjust and customize the content, and all this by using the immersive reader, which is a powerful mode to fit their learning style. Immersive reader is active in all the in Bunsey, Flipgrid, and Wakelet as well. To give you an example, last week we did a project about Shakespeare, knowing that nobody would ever search about Shakespeare. I told them to do a research. I created for each of my students individual space, so that they can search weird and crazy facts about them. And okay, they did the research. We learned about they learned about Shakespeare. They learned about his life, his plays. It was really nice, because I got my students to do something different. And on the right bottom, we talked about kinds of acts of kindness. Acts of kindness, and how we can implement acts of kindness in our everyday life. So I gave them the assignment to look for some pictures and create dialogues, again in Wakelet. And they came forward with their answers, and we discussed them in class. And here is another project we did about food waste. Again, I gave each of my students space, and they did their own research. So as you can understand, Wakelet is very powerful online platform. We create collections. We can save any type of content. We can curate this content. It's unlimited. The possibilities are unlimited. It's free of charge. It's safe. It's one platform, one simple concept, and everything is shareable. Now, the next one is Bunsey. Bunsey is mainly for students of for ages between 9 to 12 years old. They can create colorful, creative, and powerful presentations. I took some photos to give you some examples as my testimony. Here is on the right bottom, you can see how my students, we did about geographical features, and they created their own vocabulary list along with photographs. They were accompanied with photographs, which became, more engaging for them. And on the right bottom, this is the interface of a student's interface. We collect all our assignments. So we have everything. We have everything in one place. Students can go back home after we discuss things in class, and they can decorate the presentations. We can even take part in the global projects. So writing skills are enriched, vocabulary skills are developed, reading comprehension is strengthened. The last one is SRAY. I would suggest SRAY for older students because SRAY, what is SRAY? Very easy, on the spot, on the go, slick and simple presentations. It's ideal for projects and digital storytelling. I mainly use SRAY for older students, along with in combination with Wakelet. So, what is the outcome of autonomous learning with the 4 digital Microsoft tools? The outcome, the way I have experienced all of these 4 years, and this is my testimony, my sincere testimony, students can produce indelible materials. They have their own digital portfolios because at the end of the year, we present to parents what we have been doing the whole year round, and this is really enlightening for them. We make presentations. We carry out peer-to-peer assessments because by presenting to them in class, they can make self-corrections, they can assess their partners' presentations. They revise at their own space through reflective learning. They have decision-making opportunities. They apply their critical thinking skills because when they want to choose which resource to choose for the project, they have to use their critical thinking skills. And in this way, they find their path to their own learning strategies. They acquire a sense of responsibility, motivation, and empowerment. And don't forget that autonomy is a 21st century skill. That's why we do cultivate this 21st century skill. So this was my presentation about autonomy and how we can create autonomous learners at our schools.
Great. Thank you so much, Kiki. That was very helpful. I've got some ideas to try on Monday. And you even had a few seconds left. So very good. See, that wasn't so hard, was it?
No. Well, I had rehearsed it a lot of times.
Good. That's smart.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. Yeah.
What I find with teachers is you say, can you talk for an hour? No problem. Ask them to only talk for 10 minutes. Impossible. So next up, we're going to go to Eleni. And
hello.
Hello.
I am more than ready. You please use the timer.
Good. Hang on a second. I'm gonna put the spotlight on you. Let me take it off of here. Okay, so the spotlight's on you. You can share your slides. And okay, so you ready? You got 10 minutes?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay, so let me just tell everybody that you're here. Compliments of TESOL Greece. Thank you so much. And take it away.
Thank you. So hello, I am Eleni Kartalia. On behalf of TESOL Greece, it's a great pleasure to be here and co-explore with you learners' autonomy through socio-emotional learning, which is an evidence-based educational method that creates a safe classroom environment, saves students' learning, and cultivates their behavioral and life skills. My endeavor needs more than just research, so I have brought with me Aristotle, tragedy, and history. As English language teachers, we want our learners to get more out of their education. We often try to predict the future that will be very different from now due to advances in communication and information technology that create new opportunities and challenges. In a world that it is constantly challenged, we need more than ever to give them an educational experience that can deliver a result in life. We want our students to be prepared because teaching makes the difference. It is a moral act. So the first burning question is how do language, culture, and cognition intersect? A concept of cognition that has inspired many brain sciences is the computer metaphor. In other words, the mind as a computer. It is an analogy to understand how humans think and act. Cognition is linked to reason, attention, perception, memory, language, but it is also linked to emotion and motivation. So the distinction between cognitive and non-cognitive skills, it is an artificial dichotomy which facilitates our understanding. It is always about cognition that is expressed differently. Cognition in action is our non-cognitive skills that are influenced by our culture, the way of life that is passed down from generation to generation. The non-cognitive skills are the definition of success in life, the ability to set a goal and reach your goal in life. The 21st century skills that our learners must develop: critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, communication. How can we teach our learners to be successful? Socio-emotional learning is the framework that learners can acquire these skills. There are 5 important areas: self-awareness, understanding my abilities, my talents, my personality, fostering a positive self-perception; self-management, setting a goal because it is personally rewarding to you; social awareness, it's the golden rule of treating others as you would like to be treated; relationship skills, develop healthy relationships based on respect, trust, honesty, and be able to successfully resolve conflict by controlling your emotions; responsible decision-making, making conscious choices that have a positive impact. Why is socio-emotional learning effective? Research has shown that we have increased pro-social behavior, cooperation, friendliness, kindness, empathy, decreased antisocial behavior, academic achievement, health, citizenship. Let's go explore 3 exceptionally effective non-cognitive skills: creativity, grit, and social competencies. Creativity is a problem-solving process. It's about original ideas that produce something novel. Grit is the strength of character, courage, passion, perseverance, determination, seeing achievement as running a marathon, not a sprint. And social competencies are the practical way of showing our behavioral skills and interacting effectively with others. We need these skills to be prepared for success and failure. In Greek tragedies, there is always an event causing great suffering to the hero, and the solution always comes unexpectedly from a divine intervention, or deus ex machina in Latin. A good God always saves the day. But Aristotle didn't agree. Interventions can be divine. It's unrealistic, he said. The solution must come from the hero. And guess what? He was right. That's the way it is. Through interventions in our classroom, we can cultivate our learners' non-cognitive skills and enable them to create by themselves their success story. More and more schools worldwide integrate socio-emotional interventions in their curriculum, promoting students' well-being and prioritizing their holistic development, which is the basic idea behind pedagogy. We can introduce self-interventions in our EFL classroom through role play. It's fun, motivating, and memorable. We have language and improvisation opportunities and body language. My proposal is an original intervention that I created for my MA in TESOL program, and I implemented for needs analysis. It is called the Revolution Project, and it is integrated in the curriculum design for 12 weeks. It is for young learners 8 to 10 years old, and it is inspired by the Greek Revolution, as in 2021, Greece celebrated its bicentennial. We visited the National Gallery, and I used art, the paintings, to teach history. The students voted for their favorite paintings. We have Society of Friends, Grateful Hellas, Farewell at Sunio, The Secret School. The interesting fact is that the outcome can be translated as my friends' collaboration, my country, my cultural identity, love, romance, and school education. Back in the classroom, the students get into 4 teams. They will impersonate the people on the paintings and construct dialogues as a team using modern language, such as iPad, pizza, scooter, whatever they want. They can improvise, use gestures, and facial expressions. I monitor their progress. I'm interested in their interaction, how introvert and extrovert students reach a consensus, how they choose their roles, how they relate facial expressions and gestures to functional language. It is an opportunity to become Effective writers, readers, speakers, listeners. They have 15 minutes to prepare the dialogues and get ready to perform. The winner is the funniest team. A heroic period is a great opportunity to talk to the children, not just based on historical facts, but on the premise that a revolution is not an easy thing to do. But there will be challenging times in our lives that we will have to find solutions. We get courage and strength by our vision, our goal in life. The heroes faced difficulties. They lost their courage. They were afraid, but quitting was not an option. They were free as the vision they would be because they were committed to an idea. That is our lesson from our ancestors. To believe in a cause, find a purpose and a plan to make it true. To believe in ourselves. Sometimes a revolution needs imagination. That's why we need to be in a team, to collaborate and exchange ideas. And that's exactly what we are going to do within 12 weeks, with pre-intervention and post-intervention stages. We will learn through biographies. We will find out what the Constitution is. We will interview the protagonist of the Greek Revolution. And above all students will start their revolution by setting a goal and thinking of a plan to achieve their goal by the end of the school year. By autonomizing learners and revolutionizing our classroom, we have creativity, grit, and social competencies, but also motivation, self-perception, self-control, critical thinking, collaboration, determination, perseverance, communication, gratitude, time management, persistence, adaptability, self-evaluation, courage, self-regulation. Remember to be realistic and tell your students that no one knows how to start a revolution, but we can start by setting a goal and creating a plan. Spark an idea. In a nutshell, we as teachers cultivate a growth mindset. The development of our abilities is a dynamic process. As Dr. Dweck said, the great teachers believe in the growth of the intellect and talent, and they are fascinated with the process of learning. Let's be great teachers. Thank you. These are the references. Thank you so much, Tisol Macedonia Thrace, Northern Greece. And please allow me to say something. Every country has a heroic period that educators can build on by adapting the framework and replacing the figures and theme of the revolution. Thank you so much.
Great. I take it you're a little passionate about it. That was wonderful. And I'll leave these up for a minute. And you even you did it in 8 minutes. I think that's a record. Very good. Anything else you want to say about it? You have a minute or so.
Not really. I can hear my heart beating here. Okay. Can you hear it too?
Oh, is that what that noise is?
Yeah.
Great. Well, it was excellent job. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll move on to our next speaker, which is Antigone. And hang on, let me first remove the spotlight and then put the spotlight on you. Okay, and Antigone, you can bring up your slides if you could.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Antigone Melidonioti, or Antigone.
Not yet. I'm not timing you yet. I have to reset my timer.
Okay.
All right. So you are here representing
Tisol Macedonia Thrace. Yes.
Very good. And let me get reset here. Okay, so 10 minutes and you're off.
Okay, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Rob, for hosting this amazing event. And today I will be speaking about fostering autonomy through Edpuzzle. For those of you who are not familiar with Edpuzzle, it's an online platform which is based on videos. And these videos are turned into assignments, which of course makes them instantly more attractive to the learner, therefore more engaging. And we all know how important it is to actually like something in order to be engaged. the good part about these videos is that can be tailor-made to suit individual needs. And this means that learners can be supported, especially in cases where they have fallen behind or just feel insecure. And more importantly, the greatest part is that they are not being on the spot, as it is a self-paced task, which can be done individually at home. And the fact that the students are able to submit and resubmit their assignments, for me, for my school, has proven to be quite a relief, both for me and for the students, as it leaves room for improvement. Also, it has a very clear operation, and it is very easy to operate even for the very, very young learners. And even that is a confidence boost to their abilities and what they can achieve and what they can produce. And it's quite empowering. So there are three types. If we check the platform, we will see that there are many ways to use it. And one of them is by promoting a flipped classroom. It can differ according to the subject being taught, but we are focusing on in EFL classroom. So for me, it's perfect for not only listening comprehension, which is probably the majority of the teachers use, but also I use it to go on virtual field trips, and we will see how these can be used. Instead of watching photos, children can have the opportunity to explore the place of interest, and also allowing them to not only to explore the place, but also the culture, even listen to native speakers. Of course, we can share new grammar and vocabulary, which I have found to be quite important and quite facilitating as far as my classroom is concerned, because students are introduced to new phenomena even before we practice them in the classroom. That means they are more aware and they feel more capable of participating. Also, many times we have used videos in order to start a debate by watching and then embedding an open-ended question. It's a great way to start a discussion, because and it's easier to discuss after watching a video, because students get ideas automatically, and it's not through a textbook or an article that they feel the need to read. Okay, so another way it can be used is, of course, for me, it's the same, practically the same. It is the self-paced classroom. In many cases, I have appointed videos of myself explaining or giving feedback to homework, as there is a very limited time in the classroom. So for this, and also I am assigning extra homework, and especially low-level students seem to enjoy it, as they are not, once again, they don't feel that they are on the spotlight, and it leaves them room for improvement. And I have seen great results in this area. And of course, project-based learning. Okay, what need we say more. There is the ability, there is the opportunity to assign, you have learners have the opportunity to do assignments on their own. One of the most frequent in my classroom is embedding questions. So the children, the students are asked to embed questions. So they become editors. They become the journalists, they become the teachers. It has worked miracles, even just in WH question production. In other cases, especially for more advanced levels, I have assigned videos as part of a larger scheme, let's say a scheme like Eleni Kartalya's Revolution project, which was great. In other cases, they have prepared a presentation, and they did a read aloud they did a voiceover on VR videos last year when we did our VI project. It was, they took information from other videos or articles, and they passed it on through Edpuzzle. Now, why is it so important? How is it that they feel so autonomous? They get to rewatch it as many times as they want, at the comfort of their home, and they can skip questions and go back and forth, feeling no pressure. It provides options, for instance, even for children who are facing learning difficulties. Instead of writing, they get to record their answers. Of course, either based on what they hear on the videos, or they can use their own words. Again, this is quite comforting. Of course, the fact that through these videos or through the questions anyone can submit, other links can be embedded, leaves room for further exploration. I would have never guessed that children would actually read or watch other videos or the other links I am embedding, but amazingly they do, with great interest. So I can only be proud for them. And how is autonomy promoted? Well, not only as far as reading, listening, and speaking is concerned through the open-ended questions, but also the 21st century skills, critical thinking, comparing, contrasting, evaluating, and being able to deduct are some of the skills that are being promoted. And for me, the most important is the last part, that bit by bit, with slow steps, sometimes they lack intimidation. They're more willing to experiment, which promotes, and it promotes our self-monitoring, and they are more aware of themselves. And this in return boosts their confidence. And it's an ongoing process and it starts from a very early stage. This is part of the video that it's for my juniors. And again, it's with an open-ended question. And yes, they are open to share their thoughts, even with a yes, I do. Well, I think my time is over.
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was great. Round of applause. And next up, we have the other Maria.
Hello, everyone.
Is Maria a popular name in Greece?
Yes, indeed.
Silly question, huh? Okay, Maria, you can share your slides. And
Okay. I think I'm ready.
I'm not, though.
Okay.
All right.
So can you hear me? I think.
Yep, I hear you fine. And okay, so ready to go?
Ready to go.
Go.
Okay, so I'm Maria, obviously, and we're going to talk about fostering autonomy through education and drama, and more specifically, educational, the model of the expert, pioneered by Dorothy Heathcote, which is a dramatic learning through which students assume expert roles, such as scientists or archaeologists, to solve a real-world fictional problem. By creating a fictional world wherein the students have real-life responsibilities, we allow them to explore the curriculum in a more autonomous way. They can explore the subjects, gather information, find solutions through expert roles. And here is a key element: they feel safe because no one actually believes that they are real experts, so they are allowed to make mistakes. So we've got three keys here. The first one is the team of experts. These experts are the children. They are given jobs and they practice their decision-making abilities. The next one is the client. The client is the point behind the experts. The client asks the children to do specific tasks. It gives them a real sense of urgency within their work. And of course, students must please the client. And we've got the commission, which gives the children the ability to explore real-world contexts within the fictional world. There is always an enterprise to be run, a client who needs help with a job to be executed by the pupils. Our pupils grow into expertise by executing tasks carefully structured by the teacher, and through this, they take on the mantle of the expert. The emphasis is on undertaking the necessary tasks to make the enterprise a success and to serve the ever-increasing demands of the clients. So pupils carry out all these tasks with the increased sense of responsibility because they have accepted this fiction of working in an enterprise. The enterprise must feel authentic all the time. So this is a key element for Heathcote. She tried to attract students' attention through signing. So what is it about? Signing refers to actual signs, notices to accompany imaginary machinery, rosters, timesheets, suitcases, old documents, telephone books, which are strategically placed around the classroom in order to help the students visualize the space. So we attract students' attention and interest, and we motivate them to invest more time in their learning, and we get them obsessed in our classes. The model of the expert works by the teacher planning a fictional context, and students take on responsibilities, okay? And as students see their work through this professionalism, they realize their own knowledge. One other key element is the laboratory. Heathcote described her ideal classroom as a lab because in this lab, students enter and they bring their knowledge and training with them and take on this mantle of responsibility that goes with the character of the setting. So the class is like a cell affecting change in society. We combine inquiry and role-playing and task-based pedagogy, all this through fictitious situations. So students find a reason why they're doing the class through the tasks, and they try to find solutions to the relevant problem and practice problem-solving skills. They take charge of their own learning. They get motivated and curious to learn more things about a subject. They cooperate with each other. They become responsible to carry out the task and become flexible. So they are led to a deep self-knowledge. because students self-assess how they think, how they act, how they interact with each other. They pay attention to how they learn in relation to others and have an awareness of how their ideas and skills change over time. This increased self-knowledge helps students to view themselves as capable learners and develop their skills further in order to become autonomous learners and with the ability to self-motivate and self-direct their learning, applying their knowledge to broader aspects of life. So Heathcote suggests the model of the expert circle of progression as a way to further achieve autonomy, because students move from exploring possibilities to focusing, working with a purpose, and back to exploring and playing around. So every session forms part of a cyclic journey toward autonomy and self-spectatorship. I've got many recommended activities, but no time, so I'm going to just mention one. The teacher, using the technique, the teacher in role as a town mayor, asks students who are in the role of a group of architects to research the community's needs. And the architects have to create, to design, for example, a suitable living environment for all adults, taking into consideration all their needs. Another suggested recommended activity would be to create, for example, a documentary film about the history of Mayas and have the students become librarians, archaeologists, sociologists, chefs talking about Maya food and drinks and chocolate, farmers talking about Maya farming methods. What else? Mathematicians talking about the numeration system, the dot-to-dot numeration system, film directors. So many ideas, and this is my presentation. Hope you really liked it. This is my bibliography. Thank you.
Now that was 7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay.
Everybody's going so fast today. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. But then, you know, I have to take the batteries out, reset the timer, and
It's obvious that you have scared the bejesus out of the presenters.
I guess.
Yes, Maria.
Thank you for pointing this out, Rob.
Everybody.
So next time, don't make it 7 in 7 EFL talks, please.
Okay, I won't. All right, so let's see. Next up, we go to Iphigenia. And let me find you and spotlight you. You can bring up your slides, please. Very good. And great. So you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, well,
I have also set my timer.
first, let me congratulate you for starting and being part of ETAL. That's
Right.
probably one of the newer teacher associations in the world, I think. So congratulations. And hopefully we'll be working together with you. So,
Okay.
anytime,
Shall I start?
take it away.
Thank you. So my presentation is about fostering learner autonomy through alternative assessment forms. Alternative assessment is learner-centered assessment, which responds to learners' diverse needs, styles, and abilities. It supports students' autonomy and critical thinking and encourages students to improve their know-how and be strategic language learners. So students assume responsibility for their learning and monitor their progress. Alternative assessment provides students with more opportunities for self-regulation, self-reflection, and self-evaluation. That way, language learners make judgments about their own work and set new learning goals beyond the scope of the assignment, promoting autonomous and self-directed learning. The forms of alternative assessment we are going to focus on are portfolios, journals, think aloud protocols, project-based assessment, rubrics, games, and drama. So let's start with the portfolio, which is a tool for recording and reflecting on linguistic and intercultural knowledge and experiences, a collection of student work at different times and different contents, a tool that assesses the student progress over an extended period of time, and a tool for developing students' metacognitive skills and strategies. The portfolio promotes cooperation by encouraging students and teachers to regard assessment as a shared responsibility. It promotes learner autonomy by developing students' confidence in their skills and abilities. It also develops reflective skills by playing a central role in enhancing the reflective learning processes. It enhances higher level skills and strategies by placing emphasis on developing metacognitive skills and strategies, and provides an authentic form of assessment by evaluating higher level skills such as synthesis in an authentic context. Another form of alternative assessment is journals, which enhance the understanding of the learning process and the discussion and collaboration between learners and between the teacher and the learners. Writing a journal helps to record ideas and events so as learners reflect on them later. It also serves as a discovery process, as we can see in the example here, and allows students to express their expectations for and feelings or attitudes to the learning process. It also enables the learners to perform their self-evaluation by recognizing their abilities. Think aloud protocols record students' processes and strategies in monitoring their learning during their engagement in a task. It is an effective assessment tool that provides a window into students' thinking, since students say which strategies they use when they read the text or write something. And that way, students think out loud and learn how to learn. Students also summarize and assess any strategies they have used to comprehend or write the text. Project-based learning and assessment involves active participation in the learning assessment process, engagement in real-life problem-solving activities and inquiry-based situations, decision-making, cooperative learning, authenticity in exploring and responding to authentic problems and issues, utilization of learning style, and ongoing assessment, self-peer assessment and reflection, and also online assessment. Shows the student remains also engaged, responsive, and reflective. Another form of alternative assessment is self and peer assessment rubrics. Students use rubrics to clarify the criteria for quality work, understand the expected level of performance, see the strengths and limitations of their work, reflect on past feedback in order to improve performance, take more responsibility for their learning, increase independence, become involved in the learning process through self and peer assessment, as we can see here in a rubric for non-linguistic factors. Game-based assessment reflects on the extent of what the students know and the way they learn. It evaluates students' oral skills informally in terms of their ability to understand concepts and present them to peers and to the teacher. And finally, playful learning has cognitive and metacognitive benefits for the students. In drama-based assessment, students are required to be alert, to listen, and to demonstrate their understanding in immediate and imaginative responses. Learning is assessed in drama because we need to ground the possibility of development on personal levels of knowledge, skills, and understanding. Students' performance is assessed in a lifelike communicative context where they are expected to use language creatively instead of reproducing rigid forms. So to conclude, authentic alternative assessment modes are sensitive to students' background, skills, strengths, and needs. They are designed to provide personalized students' profile from diverse tools and practices. They can be highly motivating to the students. They promote active involvement and reflection and produce meaningful results for the teaching and learning practice. Thank you. I was very quick, I think. So I can say that alternative forms of assessment are perfect for clear lessons, for projects, because students are always active and participating. And so through this active involvement of the students and monitoring of their progress leads to self-regulation of learning and assessment, and finally to autonomy. And of course, since we mentioned a lot of digital tools, actually a lot of digital tools can be used for assessing students, for self and peer assessment. And we have used a lot of them. That's part of another presentation.
Well, you have time. You can start that one now.
Again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Thanks so much for this. And so give me a moment and we'll move on to next one up is going to be Vicky. Make sure you unmute, Vicky.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just shared my presentation without unmuting myself.
That's okay. I did the
Okay.
same thing. It happens to the best of us, you know?
Okay.
So,
Can you see my presentation now?
yes, we can. And
Okay, great.
all right. So you are here also from Macedonia, Thrace, Northern Greece.
That is Northern Greece, yes.
Yeah, great. And welcome. And are you
Thank
ready?
you.
Let's see if you can make
Yes.
10 minutes, okay?
Let's see.
At least 9 and
Thank
a
you so
half.
much.
Go.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming and for the invite. So I will be presenting a very short presentation about promoting autonomy, academic achievement, and social responsibility in university students' teaching practice. And give me 1 minute. So I will give a very short definition of service learning based on which the public engagement scheme has been set up at the university. And this is a framework for students' teaching practice. And then I'm going to finish describing the benefits for the students. So before I give you the context of public engagement scheme and how this serves as the framework for teaching practice, I want to mention that everything has been built on the following quote, that higher education curriculum is not just for the benefit of individual students, enabling them to succeed personally in a competitive economy-driven world, but for the benefit of the wider society. And we should not forget that as teachers, we affect society. The public engagement scheme has been built on the notion of service learning, which is a structured learning experience that combines community service with explicit learning, objectives, and preparation, and structured opportunities for reflection. And this is exactly what students who are taking the teaching practice are doing. And this is exactly why autonomy is significantly boosted. So what is the public engagement scheme? It is a program that is otherwise known as English language lessons for teenagers. It is a program where we, including myself, but basically final year students of the university, are teaching English as if they were in a foreign language school. And these learners come from financially weak families who would otherwise wouldn't have the chance to learn English. This is a 3-year program. It was set up in collaboration with the municipality of Thessaloniki in 2016. All the learners that are taking part in this program have been selected by the social civil servants of the municipality of Thessaloniki. And the students who are going finally to take part in the program have been selected based on a placement test that the university has given to them. The program actually lasts a whole academic year, let's say. It starts in October and ends in May. These EFL learners are taught English on Tuesdays and Fridays for 1 hour and a half. And the university students teaching practice rotation is about around 3 weeks. So each one of them teaches around 3 weeks. Just very briefly, the EFL learners that are taught English, they start at an A2 or so level, and they finish at a B2 level. They are usually 12 years old, 12 to 13, and when they finish the program, they're 14 to 15 years old. And as you can realize, this is a mixed ability classroom. So what is the rationale behind the public engagement scheme within which, as I said, university students teaching practice is taking place? Number one, we aim at making the students, the trainees, informed citizens in order to interact with the public and to strengthen the relationship with the public. Also, we offer them a really important volunteer experience, and we try to boost this skill, which is a very important skill for our society. So both through teaching and learning, students are gaining a significant experience about how it is to teach and manage a classroom with all the challenges. And of course, they learn about themselves. It is a highly reflective classroom and highly reflective experience and practice. Finally, our university students raise their awareness and sensitivity about contemporary social issues, because I want to say that our EFL learners may sometimes come from different backgrounds. Their parents may not be Greeks, so they may be bilingual students, and so they carry with them different cultural elements. So our students, our university students, through the teaching practice, they try to overcome any fears or stereotypes, and of course offer back to society. So actually this takes me to the teaching practice itself. This is conducted in the framework of practice in English language teaching, which is a level 3 module. Each each university student is teaching approximately 12 hours. This year they're teaching, 10 hours, but this year they're teaching for 12 hours. They have the chance to apply theory into practice. They have complete freedom. They are completely autonomous, independent to practice and to experiment and to try out whatever they want. And all of this is done on a volunteer basis. As I said, this is very critical for the project. So students prepare their own teaching material on top of the books that they're given to teach. The university students, through their teaching practice, they have the chance to assess these EFL learners, both officially and unofficially, through a summative and formative way. For example, they supervise and grade the tests. What is important also is that at the end of the teaching practice, the university students get a teaching experience certificate that verifies their prior work experience, because our students, the university students, are teaching English to real EFL learners with real challenges, real books, everything is real. Finally, through this teaching practice, students fulfill their academic requirements. At the end of their teaching practice, the university students need to submit a portfolio that is full of lesson plans and a reflection task. And this can show us the level of their autonomy and independence. And of course, they are officially observed by myself during their teaching, and for which they get a lot of feedback and of course a grade. But I don't want to focus on the grade because I think feedback and the rest of the skills are critical at this stage. So what are the benefits for the students? Basically, the most important is that they go beyond accumulating knowledge. they end up being more creative and definitely autonomous learners, autonomous teachers, independent, responsible towards the society and towards the students. They learn to deal with multi-layered challenges. We all know that a classroom is a place where we're constantly being challenged, and we have to deal with a lot of things at the same time. Through these challenges, they build a better understanding of external communities, and the trainees see how university and teaching are related directly with the society and the community they're living in. So they develop a social responsibility, global citizenship, and as I said, autonomy and independence. Finally, through all of these, they cultivate a range of professional attributes and academic skills, such as problem solving and critical thinking, among other things. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And I hope I'm on time.
You're fast. You still have a minute and a half left.
Okay.
Maria, what did you do to these people?
Well, if I have to say something, that this program was set up in 2016, and we have already 2 cohorts of EFL learners who have graduated, and they have taken the B2 level exams, all of them successfully. So this year we're running our 3rd cohort. We're very proud of the EFL learners, but also of the trainees, because some of them had to teach online during the pandemic. And for someone who is totally novice and has nothing to do with teaching, it was quite a challenge. And honestly, I'm very proud of the trainees and the students, because they all adapted very quickly and they did their best. So I think that giving back to the society in such a way, offering the best you can, I think it's critical to build a better society and to actually, give something to the new generation. If I can add anything. Thank you so much.
Yes, that was great. Thank you. Well, it's good. It's I think as teachers, it's important that we help the future teachers, and one of the reasons I started this. So thanks for being a part of it. Okay, so moving forward, we're off to Goldman. Let me find you. Are you here? Yes.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. Hang on, let me spotlight you. And you can start.
So hopefully you can see my share screen right now.
Okay, so you think you're going to make 10 minutes? I should give out a prize. Whoever gets exactly 10 minutes.
Let's make a raffle or something.
There we go. Okay, so ready to go?
Okay, so welcome to my presentation. Kalispera, everyone. I feel so honored and privileged to be here with you, actually, and thank you, Rob and Maria. That's really kind of you to host me in here. So my presentation title would be 1 through 3, encouragement to see. So you're gonna see during the next slides that what I'm trying to explain to you. So my name is Gülbin Özdemir Altıgöz. I'm an EFL teacher from Turkey. So today's menu, what do we have today for you is that the first step would be self-introduction, of course, and the second one would be basic characteristics of young learners, because I've been working with young learners like for about 10 years already. So, and then the third one would be certain strategies to promote learner autonomy in young learners, especially in young learners. And the fourth one, the last one, would be reflection and closure. So I would like to move on to my presentation with a really, really special quote that I really like. So that is, children are not things to be molded, but are people to be unfolded. by just layer. This is really critical actually, and it's like a motto for my teaching career. Let's move on to the next slide. Self-introduction is here right now. So I'm an EFL teacher and also researcher. I've been working at Bedek Primary School, which is in Antalya. Maybe you just visited somehow. Antalya is quite popular because, so it's a primary school and I've been working there for 6 years already. And also this year I started to work at Civic Science and Art Center, where we have gifted and talented students, and they are enrolled there with an examination, with an official examination. So the students there are also so nice and valuable. Also, I'm certified TESOL advanced practitioner, and I'm currently working on my master's thesis in ELT. So of course, fingers crossed, but I hope I will be finishing that next year in June or something. Okay, so characteristics of young learners. So as you might know already, they're so energetic, they're so imaginative and creative. That is the most wonderful side of the coin, actually. They're so energetic, which you can use for your lessons. They're so imaginative and creative, which you can use as well for your lessons, because you can't imagine what they have in their imagination. And sometimes even with some like 15 years or something like that in your teaching career, you're amazed what they're bringing you all the time on a paper or orally. So they enjoy learning through playing. That's really important because I love games and I use games during my lessons. And also they respond well to praising. So certain strategies to promote learner autonomy in young learners can be listed as like this. So first of all, give simple and meaningful tasks to complete in an appropriate time. This is actually not a given word in a book or something like that. This is what I've been experiencing for about 10 years already. So I just try to give very simple and very, not easy, but very simple and meaningful, realistic tasks to my students. And the time is really important, because if you give a homework or a task, and if you just force them to complete that in a very, very limited time, it doesn't work. So you fail. So the second one would be encourage them to act independently and tolerate their own products, even their mistakes. So there can be drawings or posters or some other things. But I usually admire those with their handwriting and their own drawings, and I don't like so many tasks or homeworks which parents do or parents quite help. So I encourage all the time them to act on their own and do the task on their own. So provide them with assistance. This is really important. What I mean by assistance is not doing the thing instead of them, but just, show some ways to go further. For example, I provide the parents and also my students with brief written explanations while I'm giving the tasks, or pictures or samples, etc. Usual path that I follow would be like, for example, the first step is introduction of the task, and the second one, research and guided preparation. I want to highlight guided in the sentence, because when you just say, okay, this is your task and go and do whatever you can do, is not the right thing. You need to give them some clues, and you need to provide them with some hints and also some brief explanations in order to make the students to see that there's nothing to be afraid of. They can do the task on their own. So if you just leave them alone, it will be something like, okay, I don't want to do it because I don't know what to do. So in order to, prevent yourself from failing as a teacher, so you need to provide some guided preparation for them. And the third step would be performance. So as you can see, my title, brings us here. So first step, second step, and third step. 1, 2, 3, encouragement to see the actual thing that you're expected me to do for you. So destination would be reflection and discussion among their classmates. I'm going to provide you some sample tasks right now. For example, this one was one of my sample tasks for my third graders, but it was like during pandemic. So we were teaching online on Zoom again. So with some groups it did go well, but some groups it didn't work well. So actually it's mostly it mostly depends on the parents and also some possibilities, etc. So the unit was weather, and the task was make a simple poster about weather and present it to me through a video after I teach them, of course, because our unit was weather and we were learning weather conditions and also weather forecast. So I gave them 2 options. The one of them is weather forecast for one city for 1 week. They could just go online, or they could just watch some TV to find out whether the weather forecast, how weather forecast would be in Antalya for 1 week or another city. So the second option would be weather forecast for different cities. So they could just, prepare some posters and drawings like cloudy and windy. For example, Izmir is windy and Antalya is sunny, something like that. And then the last step will be video submission via WhatsApp, because we were using WhatsApp at that time. And after that, we are gonna have we would have some discussion with the parent and student as well for about like 5 minutes or so. And also during our class online with their classmates, in order to give them some effective feedback. And sample task for 4th graders during pandemic and also face-to-face. So I've been doing this for about like 5 years already, this activity. So our unit is like countries and nationalities with my 4th graders. And I usually give them this task because it really works well for them. And since I have been working in Belek, we have students from 10 different countries, also this year 10 plus actually. And so I take this as granted for me, because that's really nice to see lots of other students from lots of other countries, from other parts of the world. So I like to provide a chance to them to introduce their culture and their countries, and also to my students as well, to choose another country to, establish empathy. So choose a country to represent and do some research on traditional clothes and songs is the first step. And second step, wear traditional clothes if you have. It isn't compulsory, or wear clothes in colors of that country's flag. This is really affordable because, for example, Italy, white and red and green, so they could just, combine something. Show something representing that country. It could be flags, magnets, etc. Also souvenirs or fruit if available, because I have some parents who like to show their talent and abilities to cook well, actually, and that's nice to see some snacks in the classroom for my students to taste at least something that represents that country. And also present your country in English in 5 sentences, but they can say hello in their original language, of course. So, and then listen to the others. Especially, I provided something here to be kept in their portfolios. I make my students to keep some portfolios in order to see their progress. So whatever they bring, whatever they do, they keep it in their portfolios. I quite find it really important. So reflections. These are reflections on my students. I didn't include their names. I like the tasks our teacher gives because they're so much fun. I enjoy doing the tasks because I create lots of nice things. And this is the last one. I like English classes because the tasks are easy to do. I know what I'm doing while doing the task. So thank you so much for your being here with me. Thank you.
Great. And you made the 10 minutes plus a little. That's good. Great. Very good. Thanks so much for doing this. And next, well, Jake, exactly what I told you.
Hello.
Hello. Let me spotlight you. And Jake, you're here representing TESOL Greece. And I thank you for being here.
That's correct. Thank you.
And you can share your slides. Make sure you get the sound.
Yeah, I have just clicked the box. Hope it works.
Good. And give it a second to come up.
Tell me
And
if you can see.
yeah, just start the presentation mode. There we go. Okay, you ready to take it away?
Is it there? Can you see it?
It's perfect. Let's see if the men can stick to 10 minutes.
We'll see that.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, hello, my name is Jake Dalatola Cerveris. I'm here on behalf of the board of directors of TESOL Greece, and I'm also an English teacher at Pierce, the American College of Greece. The reason I'm here today is to talk about online tools that can help our learners become autonomous. And that's the result of my attending that wonderful online professional English network program that was sponsored by the US Department of State. I was nominated by the American Embassy in Athens to attend that, and it was in cooperation with Iowa State University. It was an 8-week online teacher training course, and it really helped me a lot. Well, you must realize that State Department sponsors a lot of English teaching programs. One of them is learningenglish.voanews.com. Here, your learners can choose a word they don't feel comfortable with. For example, impose, emulate, initiative, inclusion, efficient. There are a lot of words that you can choose and assign to them. And they can watch a video, an authentic video in which the word is used, and they can see what their meaning is. So here we will be watching this video about siege.
Welcome to the Voice of America's Newswords.
On February 24th, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of its neighbor, Ukraine. Siege.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused Russia of terror for bombing cities and striking a nuclear power plant. Residents in the capital of Kyiv set up checkpoints. People in Irpin tried to escape parts of the city under siege by Russian troops.
A siege is a military operation in which enemy forces surround a town or building and cut off supplies.
The aim of a siege is surrender.
So that's the site learningenglish.voanews.com. Also, in the same sites, there is something very useful called everyday grammar. And you can have grammar for all levels from A1 to C1, actually, not C2. For example, second conditional progressive forms, second conditional, the conditional of daydreaming, which we will be looking at in a while. Future continuous, the future perfect continuous tense, the future perfect tense, and if you scroll down, you will see more of them. Here, We will be watching the conditional of daydreaming.
Hello, John. How are you today? Hello, John, are you okay?
Excuse me. Hello, Dr. Jill. Sorry for the delay. I was lost in thought.
Were you daydreaming again?
Yes, imagining what I would do if I finally invest in a successful business.
Pay off all of your debts?
No, buy more grammar books, of course.
I think you need a new hobby, John.
Yeah, you're probably right. In any case, I was thinking about grammar and daydreams.
How do they connect?
Well, we make certain kinds of statements about unlikely or unreal situations. These statements are called conditional statements, specifically the second conditional statement.
Right. They have an if clause that uses either the past subjunctive or the simple past, and then a main clause that uses a modal and an infinitive.
Exactly. Think of statements such as, if I were rich, I would retire and read grammar books all day. The if clause suggests an unreal situation, and the main clause suggests what would happen in an unreal future.
Or how about this, John? If John talked less about grammar, he would be a more interesting person.
And I think this applies to everyone. If we talked less about grammar in our classes, we would be more interesting to our students. Now, there is another nice website called americanenglish.state.gov. And here, actually, let's go back. Here, we can have a lot of resources. We can have access to webinars and teacher training workshops. But what is amazing about this website is that we can download for free classical pieces of literature. For example, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. You can download in PDF the first chapter, the second, the third, and so on. And also you can download the audio, which is wonderful for your students because they can listen to it at their own pace at home. Another example is from Jack London, To Build a Fire, and other stories. Moving on. Most of well, with my students at Pierce, we have something called current affairs. So they have to present in class an article that they have found online, but most of the time there are words that they don't know. So what is really useful is something you might not have heard before, Lingro. Lingro.com is a site where you can copy the URL of the article, you paste it here, you click on any words, and you are given definitions. So here we've got, for example, the word occupation, and the definition provided is an activity or task with which one occupies oneself, usually specifically the productive activity, service, trade, or craft. And another one is the evacuee, a person who has been evacuated, especially a civilian evacuated from a dangerous place in time of war. This is something I liked a lot. This is another site called Uglis. What is nice about Uglis is that it helps you pronounce words that might be tricky or confusing sometime. So in Uglis, you type here the words you don't know how to pronounce, and it finds a YouTube video where the word is used. You can listen to it. One of the words that is really hard for students to pronounce correctly is picturesque. So there are 841 videos. You can choose any one you like, and you can hear the correct pronunciation of the word. If we want them to expose to listening once more, they can have a go at www.ted.com. You choose any talk that you find interesting to them. You can assign it as homework. They listen to it, and you make a very nice worksheet, and they have to come up with the answer, and we actually check their top-down and bottom-up listening skills. And in the remaining 30 seconds, I will talk about my favorite Padlet. Padlet is a writing tool that helps students do their writing tasks, but at the same time, they don't use their traditional pen and pencil or notebook. They go online, they type on their handheld devices the answer to the task, and they use technology, and everyone is happy. And that's all from me. Thank you.
There we go. That's timing. Thank you, Jake. Perfect. That was good. Let me see. Another one that I love, I don't know if you're sticking with the American version, is NPR.org. It's National Public Radio. And this was great for listening skills because they don't have video. Voice of America I used to use all the time. Now that they've gone to video, I actually don't use it as much because I want them to do and work on listening skills specifically without seeing somebody talking. NPR is great for this. And Aphrodite is asking if she could have a list of the apps. So
of course,
if you have a minute, if you could just type them in the chat room, that would be great.
After you give the floor to someone else, I can write in the chat box. Okay.
Great. Well,
Thank
thanks
you.
so much, Jake. It was wonderful and good timing.
Thank you.
Very good. Now, next we go and we put the pressure on Demetrius. Jake, if you could stop sharing, please. Or is that's still Jake's, right? Yeah. And all right.
All right. Can I share?
Yeah, let me stop it. There we go. Now you should be able to.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Let me see if I
And
can
representing
share my...
himself is Demetrius.
Okay, great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Let's see if we can have it on
set.
presentation mode.
Wonderful. So with that,
well, with your permission.
10 minutes and take it away.
Thank you. Usually the question is to be or not to be, but tonight's question is going to be spoon feeding or strategy building. You must be wondering why there's a bicycle there on the cover slide. I'm sure most Greek speakers would associate it with the Greek expression, you make my life a bicycle, which means you make my life very difficult. But that's not the intended association. My intention is to evoke pleasant memories of when you learned how to cycle, if you ever did. Mom and dad usually support, and they gradually let you try things more autonomously. And finally, after many efforts, we finally managed to become independent users. And maybe this is the very essence of education. Well, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I agree. But the question is, how do you teach those 1,000 words? Well, today we're going to say it 2 different ways. The first way would be to ask you to work in pairs or in groups, ask you to decide what the intended meaning or what kind of message the photographer wanted to convey. I could even ask you to search the internet, try and find out whether this is a real picture or not. And of course, I could use Flipgrid or I could invite you to have a debate on the impact that this practice might have on learning and the learners. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is the traditional spoon feeding way. So tonight we will be talking about spoon feeding, a particularly popular practice among parents, teachers, and students, which requires no brain usage. And of course, I plead guilty. I've done it several times. I've lectured non-stop in class. If you really want to take spoon feeding a step ahead, you can even email student homework, even though you've asked them to write it in class, even though you've shared it on the school's LMS, but you still have students or parents emailing, excuse me, sir, what have we got for homework? Of course, you can deify vocabulary companions, meaning that students don't know how to use or will never, ever learn how to use dictionaries, online dictionaries, or any of the applications that Jake has shown earlier. And of course, there are many, many more examples of the forms of spoon feeding that we can find in teaching EFL. Now, what might the effects of spoon feeding be? Minimal or no effort? Oh, I can't do it, sir. I don't know. It doesn't seem familiar to me. They can't cope with any difficulty. It's too difficult. You need to help me. I can't do it on my own. Constant intervention by parents. You haven't taught that, or you need to revise that, or you need to explain that in more detail because it's a difficult structure. Usually those students, because they have no exposure to natural language, they have no sense of language, or when they produce language, usually the language they produce makes no sense because they won't take any risks and they will translate automatically from L1 to L2. They won't take any responsibility for their learning. You didn't teach me that expression, sir. How should I know that? And of course, there might be unrealistic expectations. Well, the teacher has got a magic wand. Of course, it goes without saying that as a teacher, you need to take your students from B2 level to C2 level within a few months without your learners doing any extra reading articles, watching videos. No, there's no way. You've got to open their heads and cram everything in there. Never met E.M. Forster, but I agree. Spoon feeding in the long run teaches nothing but the shape of the spoon. It might work for a short period of time, but in the long run, there's nothing that can be achieved. Now, who's to blame? The media. If you look around, they don't need any kind of critical thinking. Parents, schools, the system, the establishment, probably sometimes about weather, spoiled kids, and ourselves. In the meantime, there's a completely different world out there. There are students who are not interested in being lectured, in being brainwashed, and they don't care about grammar, they don't care about methodology, they don't care about what we are trying to persuade them to do, but they are interested in the lyrics, they're interested in the intended message, they communicate with other students, with other people all over the world. So what's the alternative to spoon feeding? Building strategies. Show them how to reach the stars, but let them enjoy the voyage. Don't do it for them. In other words, as the cliche goes, teach them how to fish. Don't catch the fish for them. But I think I can read your mind. Yeah, I know. You're thinking, I've got no time to develop strategies, to help them build strategies. Well, let's see an example and let's see how easy that might be. Let's find an ordinary project. It's very trendy these days. And let's see two examples. One, find information about the Mona Lisa and present it in class. Here is the link that I want you to use. I suppose you can imagine what the outcome might look like. And here's the same project slightly phrased differently. Select a painting that's special to you, create a short presentation, 5 slides, sharing with your classmates. Who created it, where, when, under what circumstances, what did the painter want to express, what's your reaction when you see it? If the artist painted it, how would it be different? Now, I want you to think of which one you think promotes spoon feeding and which one promotes autonomy. I know Rob is quite harsh with time, so obviously brevity does not necessarily promote autonomy. The first one spoon feeds them because they basically copy and paste. The second one promotes some strategies and some skills. To make a long story short, help your students, give your students choice. Promote self-regulation. And by self-regulation, I mean self-monitoring, self-instruction, goal setting, self-reinforcement. Give them ownership of what they do. It's not your responsibility, it's theirs as well. You work together. Give them time to reflect and encourage reflection. Journal keeping might actually help. Encourage them to create content. Make sure that the activities you use involve knowledge construction. Try to raise students' awareness about learning. Talk about learning styles, talk about strategies, text attack skills, word attack skills. Try to help them develop their critical and creative thinking skills by appealing to real-world problems and innovation. And finally, try to encourage as much as you can collaboration. Now, another aspect that is a game changer these days is learning technology. Try to promote digital literacy, netiquette. In other words, not copy-pasting, but try to help them develop skills like researching, analyzing, synthesizing. Encourage content creation. Technology makes it easier, so much easier these days. Try to make the most of self-assessment. It's the easiest thing in the world with technology. And of course, exploit exposure to language. There are tremendous opportunities out there. And asynchronous learning, even though it might scare some people, it is actually a very nice way to help your students develop a certain degree of autonomy. Thank you very much. I know we don't have time for questions, but you could always send your questions to my email. Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you very much, TESOL Macedonia Thrace.
Thank you so much. And we have 20 seconds left, so I'm going to call that a win. The men win. Great. Thank you, Demetrius. It was wonderful. And moving right along, we're going to go to our final.
Robbie, how many speakers have been left?
We are moving on to our last speaker.
Okay, I will now open the link to everyone as a teaser. So I'll share the link on Facebook.
Wonderful. Tease me. Okay, so next up, Vasiliki, and let me spotlight you, and you can share your slides.
Okay, I'll try to share my screen now. So can you see my screen?
I see them, and all right, now you're the last chance for the women.
Last but not least, I hope, Rob.
Yes, no, we saved the best for last, right?
Thank you, thank you.
So
kind of you. So shall I start?
You've done it. You're gonna make 10 minutes.
Okay. So it's been exactly 3 years since the last time I participated in EFL Talks. And things have changed a lot since then in our teaching practice because of all these pandemic situation. But I think that one of the things that have remained the same is teachers' effort to foster our students' autonomy. Now, for the next 9 minutes, I'll share my concerns and my ideas about dyslexic students for two main reasons. There are many reasons, but these are the two main reasons. First of all, the challenges which are posed by their learning profile and the conditions they have been dealing with through their whole life. And the second reason is that dyslexic students are either neglected, which means that they have never take the right provision for in order to deal with their difficulties, or I'm going to use one of the words that Dimitris used before, or they have received too much tutoring and too much help, which is more like spoon feeding and not help, which is something that goes completely against their autonomy. So before I start, I would like to give you a very brief idea of these students, dyslexic students' condition and the challenges that they have been dealing with. So first of all, we talk about this condition, a situation which affects word reading and spelling and has to do with their phonological awareness. In very few and simple words, it's very difficult for these students to make the transmission from phonemes for the sounds they hear to graphemes, actually the symbols, the letters that they use. And by definition, and because of the nature of the language, the English language poses an extra difficulty to these students because of this deep orthography that this language has. So it makes things even more difficult for these students. The other thing, which is very important for them, is that they have to deal with a working memory deficit, which mostly relates to verbal memory, verbal processing. So it's very hard for them to keep in their memory what they have read at the beginning of the text and what the content and the information that they find in the second or third paragraph of their text. Now, thinking of all of these two difficulties, we can understand that it's very difficult for our students to focus. So they can either focus on spelling and decoding or meaning, content. It's very difficult for them to do this at the same time. And it requires lots of effort to deal with both tasks at the same time. Therefore, we have students who are not willing to read at all. What we should have in mind is that in any case, this situation has nothing to do with their general intelligence. So their general intelligence is not affected. We talk about students who are very intelligent, and not only that, but they show creativity and they can have innovative ideas that might actually find very surprising. So we talk about reading comprehension, and I don't know, because we take it for granted, I don't know if we actually realize how complex as a process is, reading comprehension is, because actually is an information processing. So according to literature, there are two approaches that we can deal with reading. The first one is described as the bottom-up approach, according to which we start with graphemes, letters, we combine the graphemes into words, and then we move on to more complex units like phrases, sentences, we build paragraphs, and then we have the whole text. The second approach, which is described as the top-down approach, deals with the text more holistically. So we have the text, we ask our students to grasp the main idea of the text and discuss that. And then we start working on paragraphs, phrases, sentences, and if necessary, we finish with some certain words. So as you can see, these two approaches are described, the first one as a low-level approach, and the second one as a high-level approach. Now, the idea is that the top-down approach, in order for students to apply the top-down approach, it requires certain strategies to help them deal with the text. So they should predict, for example, the meaning of the word that they don't know. So they have to apply critical thinking, which is also very important. Now, the truth of the matter, however, is that in our teaching practices, what second language teachers actually use is the first approach. So we start with endless vocabulary list, and we think that as long as our students know the meaning of these unknown words, they're able to understand the text. But this is not the case, not only for dyslexic students, but even for our mainstream students. Now, we talked about strategies and the top-down approach. So according to International Dyslexia Association, prior knowledge, prior content knowledge is very important because it is a factor in the ability of readers to understand and analyze the information which is given in the text. Why? Because it helps them predict what they are going to find in the text. And it also determines the purpose of reading. So when we have students who don't like reading because of the difficulties that they have been dealing with, we can understand how important it is to engage our dyslexic readers. And in order to engage them, we need to demonstrate them metacognitive strategies. So prior knowledge is one of these strategies. So metacognitive strategies and developing metacognition is very important in order to develop autonomous readers. And we know from research that dyslexic students have difficulty in applying metacognitive strategies. So we talk about strategy. I mean, our responsibility as teachers is to teach our students, first of all, to link what they read to what they already know on the topic, and then monitor the understanding while reading. So it's not only about reading the text, but constantly engaging with what they are reading and check if they had comprehended correctly. And in order to do so, they need to ask questions about what they read while they're doing the task. Another very important thing is to establish thinking routines. And this is taken from Harvard University's Project Zero. The project is designed making thinking visible, which is a project that actually encourages students to think metacognitively. So in other words, we need to provide these strategies in order to facilitate our students' deep thinking and understanding, and scaffold our students' thinking to make it deeper. In other words, we need to help students understand what thinking and understanding through a text is like. I mean, can I be taught as a student? Can I be taught how to think in the right way? And as a teacher, is this something that I can teach to my students? So in other words, what we should try to do is to make students aware of how they learn. So it's not only about focusing on how to complete a task, but it's more about developing thinking and understanding, which is something that will go on in the next texts and tasks at hand. So one of the main thinking routines is connect, extend, and challenge. So connect with what I already know, extend the knowledge I have with the new material that I get, and then challenge what I already know, make comparisons, and see what I find particularly difficult that I think that needs extra research. If they engage on a daily basis, in everyday classroom practices, then this is going to become a routine. And eventually our students will be able to work independently. And this is how dyslexic readers are going to be autonomous. So what we should have in mind that dyslexic students may never become efficient word readers because of their condition, but they have all the potentials to become proficient in reading comprehension if they are given the right metacognitive strategies. Thank you. This is my reference list, and I think that I am in time and on time.
You hear that? Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that was wonderful, as always. And 3 years exactly, huh?
3 years. It was the 17th of November, 2019. Yes.
Oh.
Facebook reminded me that.
Great. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so basically, that'll wrap up another one. Maria, I'll open to you for a little bit. Anything you want
Thank
to
you. A very big hand of applause to all the speakers. Thank you so much. It was great to have you over. Thank you for giving us your time and presenting your work. It was excellent to reconnect with old friends, make new friends, and we do hope that you will be by our side for the events to come. Thank you, Rob. Without your support, this wouldn't have happened. And thank you to the amazing ladies on the board of TESOL Macedonia, Thrace, Northern Greece. I am a very lucky person to be working with you girls.
Great. Well, just a few things. You're going to all go down in history because soon I want you to send me a high quality picture because I have to do an update. It's going to take a while because it's starting to get difficult. Let me show you what I mean.
You're going to include the new speakers in the big collage with all the EFLtalks speakers.
Yes.
Oh my God, I have a problem finding myself now in this.
Yeah.
Antigone is there already.
No, I can see Maria.
I can see Antigone. Yeah,
I can't see me, but I can see you.
You're here. You're on the second line.
Yeah.
Right under Alexandra Popovska.
I see Theodore. I know he's here, and
I can see.
You're in the middle. You're in the middle. You're here.
I can see Gavin. Yeah, I can see
here
me
I
now.
am. Oh, yeah.
they're in alphabetical order by first name, so
Oh, that's why.
that makes it easy.
And I can see Vasiliki as well. Yay!
Hey,
Yes, I can see Vasiliki too.
Really? Can you?
Yes, you're here. See?
No, actually. Anyway.
Anyway, so I do have to say an extra special thanks to Maria Araxi, Maxi as I call her. When I did start EFL Talks, and I've never done the count by country, but I'm pretty sure that the majority of my speakers have always come from Greece, and you guys have been extremely supportive, both Macedonia, Thrace, Northern Greece, and Athens. So thank you so much. You know, we've got teachers from all over the world, but every time I call Greece, they're like, yep, here we go. I actually end up with hundreds of speakers. So for any of you who haven't spoken yet, why not? Get in touch with me, whatever type of project you may want to work on. When I was a little confused, though, with this one about autonomous learning, when Maxi got in touch with me, I thought she said automotive learning, and I said, I've never done that. I thought it would be great. Not kidding, I'm kidding. But thank you all so much. And
you tease.
I know.
We thank you.
And just so I feel at home in Thessaloniki, I'm going to pass out, okay?
Not again, please. Not again.
No, never again.
Never again.
Not again, Rob. It
Not
was
again,
enough
Rob.
once. Yes, I think you found a way to outstage Sugata Mitra. That's why you did it.
Yep.
One was more than enough.
So good. Before we go, if everybody could turn on your cameras and let's have a wave. Yay.
Yay. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Even if you're in your PJs, it's fun to see you.
Hey.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
a big round of applause for all the speakers and for all of you who sat here for 2 hours and listened. Tell your friends the recordings will be available in about a week or so. And thank you, and hope to see you soon at the next EFL Talks.
Bye-bye.
See you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you so
Bye,
much for
everyone.
coming.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.